Welcome to King Lizard's Game Lounge and Gravel on Xbox One. So in this video I'm going to do a playthrough of the first 3 series of events, give you a bit of feedback about how I feel about the game, and obviously you'll get to look at a large variety of the first series of events that are in this game and the circuit layouts and stuff and what kind of vehicles are involved in the game. Now I had to drive this race as an introductory race where it just kind of showed me the button layout. Like there we've got the LT to press brake and stuff on the screen. That's a bit annoying. I'm not happy that's still there. It can go away. But it basically teaches you obviously the buttons in the game. The buttons in this game are basic. They're pretty much the same as any other racing game. Now Gravel is very much an arcade racing game. It's not Forza Motorsport 7 or Project Cars 2. This is probably the first real arcade experience we've had from a release, an actual release that's not an arcade release on Xbox Live for a very long time, and it's something I've been anticipating for quite a while. I've kind of had my reservations. This is a Milestone game, and obviously Milestone generally do quite low budgety type games from my opinion, and I wasn't really sure what to expect from this. And hopefully it's going to show me a lot of different variety, and hopefully there's going to be lots of tracks and cars to drive and stuff. Handling wise out the box, this feels really good. I'm using an Xbox One Elite controller to play this game. I haven't got any paddles on. I'm just using the generic RT to accelerate, B for brake, or handbrake I should say, LT for brake, and it's really easy to control. I'm playing up against medium difficulty AI. There are harder difficulties in the game, but my first race was quite challenging, so I figured I'd leave it at medium. I've just pit maneuvered the AI there, sorry old chap, not intentional. And the control is, it's good, it works really well, the controller. I can feel all of the road surface. This by far is not Sega Rally in regards to its road surface. Obviously Sega Rally kind of had that mud effect where the mud kind of got churned up, but this actually, I can feel all the lumps and bumps. There's plenty of dips, there's plenty of sections that kind of throw you off the track if you're going too fast and stuff. Landed that, I've been hit from behind by the AI. I had dodged the water with the jump there, but the AI put me back in the water, so they caught me up there. So obviously I wasn't driving quick enough for their liking in medium mode, so medium mode seems to be quite a good challenge. Nice jump section. Jumps are really good fun. Any jump in a game is pretty cool. Can I get this guy on the line? Come on. I'm going to put him in the wall. I'm going to be nasty. Excellent. First place. So now on to Trophy Truck. So this is like a stadium event we're doing. Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. This is a medium-sized circuit. And I'm in Toyota T100 here. The first race I was in, by the way, was the Toyota Celica. You probably realise that if you play a lot of games. And this feels very different from the Celica, obviously. Feels very trophy truckish. It reminds me a bit of Dirt 4, this. The stadium sort of races you did and stuff. So quite a lot of lumps and bumps. Like the look of the track there, bits of water here and there. Looks quite effective. When I first played the game, on the very first race, which wasn't that long ago, literally this is my first run through on this circuit. The circuit prior I'd played as an intro part of the game, if you like. So that's the only additional race I've done other than the ones I'm showing you right now live. And outside the car, the game doesn't seem to look as good as it does inside the car, in my opinion. This dash is a very basic dash, but that's quite typical of a T100. So, based on what I've seen in Forza Motorsport 7 and other racing games, this is one of the most exciting dashes out there. Obviously, it's a racing dash, and it's meant for brutal circuits and stuff. So, but the handling is pretty good. It's quite proving quite tough. This actually, I feel this is a little bit tougher than the Celica race I just did, because obviously it's a lot tighter racing. I'm hitting the sides there, and it's a lot harder to keep this thing under control. I'm trying to accelerate at the same time, like tapping that car or the truck in front there and trying to sneak past him, but because this is such a tight circuit, or at least it looks really tight, it's probably massive. In reality it just looks really tight from in-car view. it's really hard to get past the cars cleanly, or the vehicles cleanly. So I managed to sneak up his inside there. And this is lap 5 of 5, so I need to keep my shit together here so I can get in the first place, get around this corner, and that should be it. But that felt pretty good. You know, that was a reasonable kind of trophy truck experience, quite like that. So next up, we're on a cross-country event, so this should be interesting. And I'm driving an ASX, which is a Mitsubishi vehicle. So 4x4 territory here. So let's see how we get on. Quite a lot of high grass here actually. I will switch to alternate views during this playthrough, just to let you know. Initially I'm sticking with the internals because this is how I drive in driving games. And I know external mode should be easier, but because I drive internal all the time, I find the dimensions of external mode just alien to me, and I don't play as well when I'm in external mode. So I tend to stick to these internal modes just so I get the best experience from the game. I really like this dash in this Mitsubishi ASX. It looks really cool. This is the best dash I've seen yet out of the 3 cars that I've driven, obviously. And this cave section is really cool. I also like the sound effects, by the way. I don't know if you can hear how well you can hear these on YouTube, but they sound really good. You know, the changes from going outside to inside in a cave, hitting water, you know, hitting certain surfaces, they do sound very, very effective, and I quite like the sounds. I think my only major disappointment so far was, you know, kind of the graphics of the game. I was expecting this to look a lot better than it does, but that said, internal, oh, I just got attacked there by an AI. Internal, it does look much nicer than it does outside, I feel. Some of the horizons outside look really nice, and you know, but this cave section is really cool in car. I absolutely love this. It's a really nice addition there. So let's get around this corner. Handling wise on this vehicle feels really cool, and it feels crazy fast. It does feel very, very quick, this game. So coming up to first place, I'm gonna just managed to miss in there. Around this corner's a little bit of a kink. This one's coming around as well, so steer it through. Those posts you see, kind of checkpoint posts, you can hit those and they will kind of flatten, so they're not solid objects. You can tap them or drive through them. I think they do slow you down a little bit, but not much. So straight over into first place. So cross country is a point-to-point race. So this is Speed Cross. This is the last event in the season debut series, which is the first series you do in the game. And we're at a track called Laheyek, and this is the Porsche RSR 9111 Rally, which feels entirely different to the other vehicles. This is crazy fast, this thing, and it's extremely sensitive, but in a good way. I'm going to be able to drift around some of these corners if I can get past the AI. The AI in medium difficulty are proving to be quite a good challenge so far, I'm finding. You know, I'm not used to the game yet. Maybe when I get used to it, the circuits, I'll need to up the level, but at the moment, as a first-hand experience, I'm really enjoying this, and this does feel very different. You know, this is a tarmac-based track, and you know, I can feel the road surface difference, and I can really sling this car around the corners and get the acceleration going, and kind of feel it sliding. Now, you can see that counter in the middle there. I haven't covered that yet, but basically the counter in the middle is like your skill score, and that skill score is how you level up in the game. So you'll start out basic level 1. As you level up through the game series and doing races and completing races and getting better positions, you'll also level up XP wise each time you race by doing drifts or, you know, air situations, that kind of stuff. So you do get skill points whilst you're racing that allow you to level up. So it's not all about winning races. You can still unlock vehicles just by racing, even if you're having a bit of a tough time. There are some easier modes of racing if you're a more novice driver and you want, you know, less of an in-the-face experience, or you don't, you know, feel as confident driving as, you know, some of the veteran racers like myself. But you know, Really easy to handle this game. I can't emphasize that enough. It's a very good handling model, and I'm actually really enjoying this. I screwed that up a tree. Kind of got slung around the corner there as I went round and then lost control. Big, wide. Oh, I just managed to squeeze first. So this now is the off-road mixtape series, and the first race is in Namibia. We're going across dunes, so this is going to be quite an open race event, I believe. It looks like it's probably a cross-country event, based on the fact I'm seeing a percentage completion there. And I'm driving that Toyota T100 truck again. I don't have a choice of another vehicle at the moment. Haven't unlocked any. Whoa! Big air. That was cool. And then up this hill. This is, and you can see the skill scores counting up there in the top of the middle of the screen. So while that's, you know, compiling, I'm earning skill score to level up in the game. So I managed to squeeze in a first place reasonably easy there, within the first 25%. And this circuit is, I'm making it look easy, but I would imagine it can probably be quite nasty, because you'll get thrown out and stuff if you push too hard in the wrong places. There's that filter effect again. I think it's a shame that they put that filter effect across the whole of the screen, rather than just, obviously in this mode I expect it to kind of be that anyway, but in car it does the same thing. I think it's just a bit of a cheap effect. It kind of looks okay, but it would have been nicer to have a, you know, like a in-car kind of windscreen splatter rather than the whole screen. And the AI here, medium AI, has actually caught me up and overtaken me again, so they seem to be quite well designed, this AI, in my opinion. They seem to challenge you. You know, when you get ahead of the race, they will actually overtake you again and push you, and they'll keep up your backside. So it's going to prove so far for some pretty close racing for me. That's quite a nice feature. I like that when, you know, arcade games give you those alternate routes. You can go left or right and, you know, choose whichever route you want to take. That's pretty cool. I like that. If they do a bit more of that, that would be pretty cool. And this is quite a long race really for a cross-country race. That last race with the ASX Mitsubishi, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a fantastic race. This one's pretty cool. It's a little bit more basic, because obviously there's a lot less detail on the circuit and stuff, but it's quite, you know, basic but good fun. So next up we've got a race in an arena. This is Florida Stadium and a circuit called the Crossing, and I'm in, I think it's a 1995 Subaru Impreza. So quite a basic livery on this car. I don't know if it ever looked like this in real life. It probably did, but there are a large majority of, obviously, as I was saying before, off-road circuit vehicles. You've got rally cars, you've got trophy trucks, you've got 4x4s. You know, that's pretty much the diet when it comes to cars in gravel. You know, all of the cars are based on off-road vehicles, so you're not going to get any, you know, road-based vehicles other than those obviously speed cross cars I was just racing in the Porsche just now. So, but there's, you know, it's a fair good mix in terms of arcade. It may open up some new stuff later on, I don't know. I just span that right out. Whoa, that's me into like 6th place now. Great. So now I've got to fight, get myself up the front. I've got 5 laps, so I should be okay. And so this is the external view, and it actually looks okay on this circuit. I found that first circuit, I keep going back to that because the first circuit really threw me. When I first loaded the game, I was like, wow, this looks like an Xbox 360 game. You know, it doesn't graphically look that great, but this looks a little bit better, I think, than that first circuit. So I think it might depend on the circuits as to how good or bad the game looks. But I think it looks its best personally internally, although obviously there are some really nice horizons they've put together in the game. But I'm still not convinced it's totally next-gen graphics personally. The sound though I'm quite impressed with, and as I said, the handling model I'm really impressed with in this so far. This is, you know, a little bit challenging. I can really feel the car sliding here as I'm trying to max it out around the corners. I touch the handbrake, get a nice little bit of drift there. A little bit too much there, hence I slowed down too much there. I'll catch me up now. Getting those points again for my level up. Obviously, the more I level up, the more vehicles and tracks will become available to me. You do have a free race mode in this game, so you can just go in and practice the races any time you want. There's also online Xbox Live. I've not done any of that yet. I was more interested in just getting on with the campaign and just completing the campaign, which I'll share with you on the channel. I'll stick all of this campaign up. But I really wanted to show you in this video the variety that this game offers and my kind of live reactions to it more than anything else. And I'm quite pleasantly surprised. Like I said, initially when I first drove the first circuit, I was kind of a bit disappointed. I thought, shit, what have I bought here? But as I get deeper into this game, I'm actually quite enjoying the variety, all the differences in what I'm seeing. So now I'm on another speed cross circuit. This is Franciacorta, and I'm driving the Abarth 124 Rally, which is not a vehicle I'm that familiar with. I'm not sure if I've ever raced one of these in a game before. Maybe it's been in a Dirt Series game and I just don't remember racing it, but quite a different vehicle this. The thing I don't like about this initially is I can see there's like rain effects on the external model of this vehicle, but they've got this nasty filter which is kind of giving this blurred rain effect inside the vehicle, and it looks horrible. I can barely see anything in this vehicle, so I really don't like that filter that they're sticking across the whole game. You know, there isn't a need to do that. I think the effect they've got on the outside of the car model is more than enough to, you know, emphasize the rain. In fact, the thing I really like about this is that inside the car I can hear the, you know, the pitter patter of the rain on the roof, and it sounds brilliant. It's one of the best sounding roof rain that I've heard in a car game. It sounds really cool. And this car on the, you know, rainy tarmac versus that 911 RSR Porsche I drove earlier on the, you know, dry tarmac just feels so much more different, but in a good way. You know, it's really easy to slide this thing around the corner. You can do it a little bit too much, as I nearly did there, and it just feels amazing. It feels really, really cool, and it's just so easy to do as well. You know, it's all about you just controlling your speed, slowing yourself down, using the handbrake not too much, and getting yourself around the corners. Now, I might actually get first place here. Excellent. This has been an absolute nightmare, this circuit, to get a first place time. I just hope that time doesn't change, because when I raced this the first time, and by the way, this is my fourth run through on this event, and when I did it the first time, I got a first place position, and then during the second lap the AI got a better position, so I ended up being put back into, I think it was fourth place or something. And then I'm like, what the hell? I drove my guts out on that circuit. Why didn't I get first place? And it's just been really, really tough to get the last 2 seconds I needed to get. I keep getting 2 seconds past the time required. So I'm messing around with the viewpoints here just to show you a few viewpoints as I drive around. And you know, it's been a really tough event this, and I feel like the difficulty is just all of a sudden climbed up Mount Kilimanjaro on this particular time attack event. That was really difficult. So next up, this is now the final set of events in the mixtape series, and it's all going to be in this Mini Countryman RX. So a bit of 4x4 here, high speed. I don't think it's all going to be racing. I hope it is. And this is Alaska we're racing in, and this feels pretty cool. Feels quite light handling, this Mini. Feels quite easy to steer and stuff, but the surface I can really feel, and this is crazy fast. I couldn't stop there, I hit the AI. This is absolute mental fast. It feels really, really, really fast. So, and the AI are absolutely storming it here. I'm going to catch this guy up. Oh, I've taken him out. Sorry, buddy. No, he's taking me out. You shit back. Totally come off track there. It was nearly a lot worse than it was. I managed to stay in fourth place. I don't know if I'd have reset or something if I'd gone off track there. Who knows? Not done that as yet. But jump into external mode now, because this is probably how most people will play the game. Although I think it's a shame, because I think in car it looks a lot better, this game. Although this doesn't look too bad externally. So taking out some of the legs of that scaffolding there looked a bit scary. And then back into in-car. This is brutal. Absolutely mental speed. I've got the AI tapping me on my right side here. So we're kind of neck and neck, or he's just on my rear now. I can feel him pushing me a bit. There he was there. And oh my god. Into this section. This looks tight. Oh, I really like this circuit, this Alaska circuit. I'm not sure what variant it was, but this is cool as hell. Really, really good racing fun, this. And very, very arcadey. You know, this is an arcade, a good arcade game. You know, that's for definite. Whether it's a long enough arcade game, we'll see. I mean, bear in mind that this is free and only free of the event series that I'm playing, you know, through this playthrough. There are a whole bunch of other event series. It's got a very big event series, this game. So next up, I'm in the snow in this mini countryman RX. We're at somewhere called Frozen Peak Mont Blanc. It's called the Oval. So I guess this is just a big oval, hopefully. Big. Oh, it's really difficult to see what's going on here. All the snow being kicked up by the other vehicles really sort of impairing my ability to see what's going on. I might have to switch view here so I can see what the hell's going on. So this is basically internal view. So if you had a steering wheel, this is how you drive this. Now I don't know if steering wheel supported. It probably is, given they've put this mode in. I'll have to, on my next playthrough, what I'll do is I'll stick the steering wheel setup on and see if I can get on with this game with the steering wheel. At the moment I've kind of given up with Forza Motorsport 7 in my steering wheel setup, because it's just a nightmare. It just loses control randomly. I did manage to get some clean laps in on Project Cars 2 with the steering wheel setup, but I've still not gotten used to it. So I've still yet to master steering wheel driving. But anyway, this game with a controller is just immense fun. I can't emphasise how much fun this is. So I'm into the third lap now, and you can really feel kind of the crunchiness of the snow as you're driving over it. It does feel very different to the other surfaces I've driven in this game. And jump into external mode here. Bit of a kick out there. A little bit of lumps and bumps here. A bit of handbrake just to slow me down enough to get me around that corner. And then into the straight again, taking us into lap 4. Back into internal mode. Now I've got nothing in front of me. I can kind of see where I'm going. So I'm going to see how this feels and looks in internal mode. No! Oh! So I reset there. I've literally went up the embankment there before it reset me. It's a shame you can't see the entire accident in the race replay and stuff. I have looked at some of the race replays in between doing this, and the race replay is not too bad, but there are some issues. Some of the circuit replays actually kind of stay on the same camera, so you'll see it's kind of watching the race through a mountain and stuff. So some of the replay modes don't work. Some of the replays are literally a couple of extra viewpoints on the car, so you don't actually have a kind of game replay camera where you see the cars coming towards you and away from you or up in the air or whatever. They're kind of around the car, a bit like they were with Forza Horizon. So there's a bit of a mix on the replay, so not all of them work brilliantly, unfortunately. So this is the last championship race for the off-road mixtape series, and it's speed cross, so plenty of handbraking here, fast driving on tarmac surfaces. Already managed to squeeze myself in the first place here. And this is an elimination race, this one. So it's all about making sure you're in front when that timer counts down. So this, I'm not sure how long I've got to do this for, but these are generally quite tough races. And as this AI, does have a habit of pushing you to your limits, it's probably going to be quite tough, these elimination races. Fortunately for me, in the moment, I'm in first place. Hopefully I won't screw up. And it's all a matter of just getting the handbrake right. That was a little bit too slow there. The AI's caught me up, look. So, and then round this section, you don't want to slide too much, because if you slide too much, you're losing speed. AI are going to catch you up and then undercut you, or maybe even cause you to spin out. This bit's quite a nasty little section, that. Quite a nasty little turn. And then through this section, that's gone wrong. Oh no. It's dropped me in the second place, didn't want to be here. Sneak up inside him, all getting caught in the AI now. He's determined to get through there, so am I. Sorry buddy. And then push her through this section. Got caught up on the wall there, had a bit of a kick out as I got around the corner. And then really tight U-bend here. Kind of got caught by the AI just as I was coming out of that. Get myself through this section, still in first place. And that's a nasty old corner, nasty old turn. Nasty old turn. The thing I like about this game, based on the races that obviously I've done thus far, is that the circuit is very clearly laid out. I haven't once had a problem where I'm like, where the hell do I go? You know, there are a number of races, even Forza sometimes, you know, I'll be racing and then all of a sudden I'm like, shit, I've gone the wrong direction, I've gone off track, or, you know, not very often with Forza Motorsport 7 these days, but occasionally that does happen. And Dirt 4, I found that sometimes it was quite confusing and I could land up going the wrong direction sometimes. But with this particular game, I haven't had that problem at all. I, you know, clearly can see where the track's going, chevrons are nicely laid out. So next up, this is one of the specialists in the game. So basically these are the boss characters that we race against. This chap, Scott Parker, is a trophy truck driver. So he, I don't know if he's supposed to look menacing there or not. I just want to slap him. But he looks really, what's the word? Seriously confident in himself. He loves himself a bit, so I just want to punch him in the face. So let's see if we can kick his ass on this circuit. I think that was maybe the mood the game was trying to set, was to make me dislike this guy. So these are one-on-one races, so it's head-to-head racing basically. And there are quite a few of these actually. I think I've got 3 or 4 of them to do. So I'd rather be racing against other cars than him, to be honest, rather than just him. But let's see how we go. He's proving a bit of a challenge at the moment. Oh, sorry buddy. I'll back off there. Got caught up on him. I don't want to win by taking the AI out, although the AI seems to be taking the same path I'm trying to take all the time. We've contacted again. This is actually really tougher than I thought it would be. So I've got 4 laps of this. We've made contact again. I'm trying to fight up the inside here. Oh, he's caught my rear, pushed me into the barrier, lost control himself luckily, so I was able to stay out in front there. These circuits actually look massive when you watch the replays, but when you're driving them, and obviously external mode they look big, but internal mode, it feels like you're going down a one-way country street, country road when you're driving in car. But plenty of room for 2 cars, but we seem to be making contact a lot here, and it's quite tough racing this head-to-head. This guy's really on my case here, and I'm finding it quite challenging getting around these corners and keeping ahead of this guy. So I feel pretty pressured trying to win this thing. So I'm into the 4th lap here, so best not screw this up. This is my first run through of this race, so I've not replayed it or anything. This is first go, and most of these have been first go, to be honest. The only one that gave me trouble was that time attack in the rain at Franciacorta. So on to race 2. It's another stadium race. This one's a bit different. It's kind of like 2 ovals, and you can take the left or right route to compete, if you like. So this time round, I'm not driving that T100 anymore. I'm driving the Ford Raptor F-150 SVT. So this is a bit of a different vehicle, this one. I thought I'd try something else as I've just unlocked the F-150 Raptor. Obviously it's a car we've seen in Forza Motorsport and Horizon, amongst other games. So feels quite a fun circuit. It's quite basic sort of layout. It's like a, kind of like an oval. And it's all about getting over these lumps cleanly and then getting around the corners, maintaining maximum speed. Oh, he's got my circuit this time. So he decided to go my route that time. We got caught up with each other. It's the third lap, so one lap more after this. This is quite good fun, actually. Shame it's not with more vehicles, to be honest, because this could be quite manic. Imagine this online with however many competitors you get. Hopefully you get at least about 8 other drivers online, maybe more. And everyone trying to make these routes at the same time on these corners. That'll be quite interesting. So I managed to sneak it nice and close to the barrier there. Launch over that jump and in the first place. So race 3. Another head-to-head. So these are definitely all head-to-head races. This is Florida Stadium. This is a figure of 8 layout. And then once again I'm driving that Ford F-150 Raptor. It feels quite good this. I actually prefer the feel of the Raptor to the Toyota. I think the Toyota's just that little bit wider. It just feels that little bit different to drive. Again, like the first race, having a lot of contact with the AI here. Oh, that was a nice undertake, nearly had it. Gone in a little bit too fast into that corner, braking just that little bit late. He's gone on my inside here. AI really challenging me there for the position. So push it around this corner. Gravel surface, or the dirt surface here feels really nice. Track looks pretty cool too. This doesn't look too bad external. It does remind me a little bit graphically of Grid in some regards, this game, or at least Grid 2. Just the way the circuits look and stuff. Although the handling is, better than Grid 2's. Grid 2 was quite floaty, I found at times, but in a good way. I love Grid 2, don't get me wrong, but this just feels more responsive, and you don't feel like you're kind of out of control like you did in Grid 2 sometimes. So they really have done a great job on the arcade handling mechanics in Gravel. It's a good game. I think the only place that a lot of players will probably be disappointed with is the graphics. I think the graphics aren't quite what we would expect from a next gen arcade racer. But that said, as I said, you've seen some videos here, it does look quite nice in places. It's kind of got a bit of graphically it reminds me a bit of Ark Evolved, before the Xbox One X update, in terms of the way it looks. So that's that series. Now into the American Tour. And we're back at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum and a circuit called the Chicane. And this time around I'm driving a Hummer. I got caught up on the AI there. I thought I'd go external mode. Looks quite weird external mode this car. But getting caught up on the AI again. Managed to sneak in there with the old handbrake. Lost control of it there. Just undertaking or trying to. Bit more Raptors and stuff up against me here. Getting caught in the rear end of that one. So quite a bit more of a technical circuit this. Quite good fun. A little bit too much handbrake there. This is a bit more gravelly. It feels a bit more gravelly. And we're in the lap 3. I've got 2 places to reel in here. And it offers a good challenge in medium mode. I think most people will be quite satisfied driving this in medium mode. I think the only place that could be a bit dangerous is that Francia Quarter circuit. A lot of people might give up there because that was actually pretty tough. And you know, sometimes arcade games tend to, you know, do that. You get like a whole bunch of events that are raceable and really enjoyable, and then all of a sudden you hit that one time attack that's just a nightmare to complete, and then it stops a lot of people in their tracks and they just don't go back to the game. Hopefully people can persevere past that. Obviously you saw how I did in the video, so it is possible. It's just a matter of persevering. I personally found that Francia Quarter range circuit really tough. This was actually quite challenging as well, to be honest, because this Hummer is really hard work to get around this circuit. But fingers crossed, I got myself a first place. So this is cross-country time attack, so it's a point-to-point race, but there are these randomly generated checkpoint boards, and you have to drive through the green arrow, not the red X's. You hit the red X's, they slow you down considerably, and this is actually my 6th run of this particular event, and I'm at the point now where I'm just like, please let this be over with. I'm fed up with this. I just want to race. This circuit's not too bad. You can't flat this circuit out. If you do, you will lose control in some points and you'll crash out, particularly this section here. You do have to back off a little bit, but obviously on top of that you can't, oh, nearly lost the car then. You can't go flat out because you can't see what the checkpoint's going to be until it changes. And I've had a number of these so far, touch wood, made it through that one, where it just changed at the last minute on me as I got right on top of it, and I couldn't make the turn to miss the red X. And the minute you hit one of these red X's, you're not getting this done. That's my experience. I'm finding that, you know, I hit one red X on my last run and on a couple of other runs prior, and basically that one red X was enough to screw my time to the point where I couldn't get first place. I was getting second all the time and third on a couple of occasions, but the first place, which is obviously what I'm after here because I want to get the event completely done, is brutal. You know, there isn't any leeway, any room for error or mistake. If you make a mistake, you're done for. And for me, that's a bit harsh on medium mode. You know, this is quite tough. I could compare this and the Francia Quarter time attack to Split Second. I don't know if you've played Split Second. Obviously it's just been given free on Xbox Live, but that game was actually really good fun driving the racing events, and then all of a sudden you get to these time attacks that were brutally tough and nigh on impossible in some cases, and that particular event is one of those situations. So next up we've got the American Tours race around Florida Stadium Oval, and I'm driving here the Alpine A110 1800 Group 4 rally vehicle. So this is obviously a vehicle we've seen many times before. Obviously Forza Horizon 3 have had this vehicle, as well as Dirt 4, where I quite enjoyed racing it. Dirt Rally, of course. So got caught up on the AI here. This is quite... oh, got the front there, didn't mean to budge him out of the way. It's quite a slidey circuit this. I feel quite pressured racing this, so it's quite tough, although I might get him on the first lap here. No, there's second. Is that the second lap? Third lap? 3 or 5. Okay, so I'm on lap 3 already. I didn't realise that was 3 laps. I thought it was still one circuit. Obviously not paying enough attention. So this should be lap 4 then, I guess. Yeah, it is. That was weird. I just felt like that was one entire lap. The quite good fun racing this. It's quite fast. The car is very responsive. I can feel all of the lumps and bumps again on this circuit. It's quite a nasty circuit. You take things too fast like I did there, you may not get thrown into the wall. And then into 5th lap, nearly getting there. Obviously I've gone external again, just so you get to see a bit of the viewpoint from outside the car and stuff. This is the furthest viewpoint, or furthest chase view, if you like, that the game offers. And then into first place. So I'm back in that A110 Group 4 Alpine. This is an elimination. Now, this I've actually found really tough. Oh, sorry, vehicles. I found really tough. I pushed through those cars there purely because I'm finding this really tough to complete. This is my 4th run on this event. This, is pretty brutal. I'm finding it really hard to get into first place on this event, and as a result, I'm kind of, I'm breaking my normal rule of trying to drive 100% cleanly, purely because if I try to give the AI enough room to get past, they just keep overtaking me. So I'm going to have to be a bit more aggressive and get up the inside of them and stay up in front to get this event done, because I'm getting pretty tired of this event at this point. So this is, proved to be really, really tough. Those ribbings there, or the curbs at the side, have claimed me a few times in my previous runs. I was actually in first place, and I kind of went a little bit too much over some of the curbing there, and it threw me out into the wall. And then everything just overtook me, and after that I just couldn't. I caught up to second place, but I could not get first place for the life of me. First place car in this particular elimination event is brutally fast, and obviously with the elimination you cannot afford to be in second place, because that's a race over. So I'm really fighting tooth and nail here to stay out in front, and it's not lap defined, it's time defined, so these are basically a hell of a lot longer than your races. So these are almost twice as long as some of the races, these elimination events, purely because you've got to keep driving until the timer runs out and you're still in front. And again, obviously I'm aiming to win this. I've had a couple of seconds in my previous events. Obviously I came in 4th on one of them because I had that accident, but this has actually proved really tough. So this is event 3 that's been really difficult in medium mode. So again, another event some people might find a bit of a challenge, I think, and hopefully one that won't put them off playing the game. But I found this quite brutal. I almost put the game down at this point and went on to something else, but I thought, no, I'm going to be stubborn. That's one of my gaming qualities, is that when something is really tough, I just keep digging and digging and digging until I get it done, and then once I get it done I try and do it better. So not doing too bad here. I haven't got a massive amount of room on the AI. There's only 3 of us left at this point, but they are really close. They're literally a crash away. If I make a mistake, then I'm not winning this race. So I've really got to keep my nerves together. Get around this corner. I was a little bit slow around there. I just didn't want to risk throwing it out. Oh, I've screwed that up. AI's right on top of me now. That is not good. So I've really hurt myself there. We just lost another vehicle, so it's now me and 1 AI in this elimination event. So I've got to try and keep in front of this dude. This section is really good. I find this is the best place to gain time on the AI. And then this section here is quite nasty. It's a matter of slowing down at the right time, but not slowing down so much that the AI catch you up. Thank God for that. Got it done. That was mega tough. I'm glad that's over with. So, final race in Championship 3 of the American Tour is back at Alaska. We're doing along the river in the A110 Alpine again, the 1800 Group 4 rally vehicle. I love this particular circuit. In fact, this Alaska circuit and the rallying, or the racing element of the game, is where I enjoy it the most. I think it's where it's at its best as far as a game goes. In summary, in regards to gravel on Xbox One, initial first impressions were quite worrying, because some of these outside views in the game made it look very Xbox 360 graphics for me. I really didn't feel graphically that it was that strong on some of the circuits or some of the viewpoints. Playing this level, I think this looks a lot better. I'm really enjoying it. Oh my god, rolled it a couple of times there. I think I clipped something as I went off a jump, but Graphically, it's quite a tough one to score. I'd probably score it somewhere between a 7 and an 8 out of 10. From a sound perspective, the sounds in this game I think are really good. I really like the sounds. You get the knocks from the cars as you hit each other. You hear the gravel, the different surfaces. That rain effect I got at Francis Corner, where it's kind of smashing down on the top of the roof of the car, was really cool. And the cars do sound different, and in a good way. The handling of this game I think is really good. I think it's one of its strongest points. It's actually a really fun game to play from a handling perspective. So 9 out of 10 for handling, or playability if you like. Hardness levels, there's good hardness levels on offer, but my biggest fear is on medium mode. I found 3 events, the time attacks, eliminations, very, very tough. And they might be the sections where certain gamers put this game down and say, screw that, that's just too hard on medium. But you just need to persevere, you will get through them. Overall, for me, so far, Gravel, I'd probably give it between a 7 and an 8 out of 10. I'm quite enjoying it at the moment, but I've got some reservations. Hope you enjoyed this anyway. Please remember to rate and subscribe. I'll be back with more soon. Take care, keep well, keep watching, and most importantly, come back soon.